Jenni, thanks for coming on with us. So, guys, the Big 12 serves up a pretty good game this Saturday in Stillwater. Top 25 matchup, unbeaten teams. Number 21 Baylor will travel up to Stillwater to play number 19 Oklahoma State. Though our man John Werner here picked Baylor's upset over Iowa State last week. How about that?
Impressive. Well, as Tom Petty says, even the losers get lucky sometimes.
Nice. It was still eye-opening for a lot of us. Meanwhile, Oklahoma State has a pretty good resume. Road win over Boise State. And last week, the Cowboys dispatched Kansas State. That was a ranked K-State team, 31-20. So for you two, I mean, who's the more surprising team here? And, does that more surprising team win on Saturday? I mean, who do you like in this game? Jenni, we'll start with you.
Yeah, probably I would say the more surprising team is Baylor. Obviously a year ago was a big struggle. The COVID years, you kind of have to consider that everybody was dealing with a lot of craziness and unexpected twists and turns, but obviously that it was a struggle for the Bears. And so I think the fact that, beating Kansas, no surprise there. I'm a Kansas grad. I can say with a clear conscience, everybody beats Kansas. But but then to beat Iowa State, which, I think that's pretty clear that the Cyclones have got, I don't know what the issues are, but, to really not be competitive against Iowa a few weeks ago, you sort of sense that something might be amiss, but obviously that's a good win for Baylor. To hold them off in the end, I thought that was really impressive. So I'm much more surprised by Baylor. Oklahoma State, the way they've gotten to 4-0 has been a little bit weird, but I would say as far as the fact that they are both 4-0, I would say Baylor's the more surprising one to me. I've got Oklahoma State winning. I like the fact that they're at home. I think what they did in the first half against K-State was more reminiscent of what we thought we might see the entire first 4 games. Why we haven't, we can talk about that. But I think it showed that they might start to be coming into their own, and yet they've figured out ways to win without that being their way every game up until that point. So I got Oklahoma State, but I think it's a heck of an interesting matchup on Saturday.
Yeah, Johnny, how about you?
Yeah, I got to say, I did not expect a top 25 matchup going into this season, this weekend. I think Baylor has been the more surprising team, although Oklahoma State winning at Boise State is very impressive. But I'm going to take Oklahoma State in this game. I've covered about 11 games, I think, up in Stillwater. I have yet to see Baylor win.
Yeah, so this is an interesting little nugget, Jenni. So John, as the beat writer, Baylor has won twice there, Johnny, right?
15 and 19.
And both times I made that trip solo because John, one time he was in the hospital. That's a pretty good excuse. And the other time your mother-in-law passed away, right,
yes.
Johnny? Yeah. Yes. So I was flying solo. And so that pretty much clinches, since we're both going on Saturday, that Oklahoma State's going to win.
I'm a pretty incredible jinx for them in this matchup in Stillwater.
Yeah.
Does Dave Aranda have any ability to pay you off, John, and keep you in Waco?
Well, if he watches this podcast, he might try that.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's a great point. And Baylor has taken some really good teams to Stillwater. We saw Robert Griffin III, who will be in the box calling the game on TV on Saturday. We saw him up there, I believe, in his Heisman season even. And Oklahoma State, which they were good that year, but they weren't as good as they have been in some other years. They just dismantled Baylor that year. So that was, there have been some surprising results in Stillwater for the Bears. And I'm not sure you can pin that on any one thing. But I do think Oklahoma State has got a really good defense. It's so weird in this state, in Oklahoma, to have both teams leaning on their defenses For years, that has not been the case at either school.
Right.
And here they are both doing it. But Oklahoma State's defense, they've had some injuries. They're missing some pieces, and yet they just continue to play really solid defense. And I think that's a good winning strategy in the Big 12 right now, is to have a good defense. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, because the matchup is so surprising, would I be surprised at a Baylor win on Saturday? No, but I do think that Oklahoma State's defense is, they just seem capable of handling a lot of things right now.
Yeah, let me add this. RG3 was 0-3 up there. None of the games are close, but that was not as memorable as Brice Petty tripping
over the 5-yard line.
Over the 5-yard line, a wide open field in front of them. And it went downhill from there. That was a great Baylor team, and it went straight downhill.
Yeah. Baylor fans certainly won't forget about that. The turf monster got Petty on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're all in agreement here, which pretty much clinches that Baylor's probably going to win. So.